So we're going to talk about a few things this evening. One of them is change, transformations specifically.
Yes.
Change can be just a bit random, but transformation is something that grows from within, basically.
Yes.
We have a lot of experience of transformations because that's been our experience over the last couple of years. Doing a magical and spiritual work, we see something and we think, oh, we need to do something about this, or we don't understand. Then a few days later, something crops up and we're saying, oh, wait, do you have any? Yeah, I something too. Now we see things in a different way.
Yeah.
We see it in our way, our meaning Graham's way and my way. And we also see it in a kind of way that's similar.
Yeah, there's the Frank Sinatra method.
We did it our way.
We did it our way. Yeah.
And it's really good fun when you're in this sort of area of energy where it's constantly transforming. It's brilliant because we're doing new things, we're getting new ideas, and half the time we can't keep up.
Yeah.
And it really stuffs us for doing videos as well, because by the time we're actually getting around to talking about whatever we saw,
it's all changed.
It's gone. Where did it go? So it's not lost, but this is the thing. In a lot of magicians, they kind of work formulaically, and so do tarot readers. You know, this is the way you do it, and they do it in this particular way. But actually, it's being in the moment is where you have to be, and doing what you need to do at that moment. Yeah. And then you often get a validation a day or the same day in a dream or something like this as well. It's quite amazing and fantastic when it happens like this.
Yeah,
you get a bit blasé about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it becomes a way of living, I think, which is when it is. That's when it is magic, when it's the way that you live.
Yeah,
not just something you study at night school.
Well, exactly. You have to own it. You have to live it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've talked to Graham quite a bit about this, but there's the problem that magic and tarot suffers from is because of a French philosopher called Rene Descartes, who basically externalized experience.
I think, therefore I am.
Yes, but you are because you are, you can think.
That's right. It's the other way around.
And so the external reality creates consciousness, which is why people think big data and Google, and if you have enough data, you can know what's going on.
Yeah.
And that, will artificial intelligence be real? No.
It's not the same as real intelligence.
Tarot readers suffer, this Cartesian view permeates magic. And you see it in every single tarot book where it's this thing, in the picture. And you're seeing that's an external reality. And then you wonder why that external reality doesn't match the internal one.
Yeah, exactly. Almost though meaning is external to you.
Yeah.
And you can find it by learning enough knowledge, which is not really how I'm experiencing.
That's why it doesn't work.
No.
And there's a philosopher called Husserl who coined the phrase phenomenology.
Yeah.
And this is basically where you validate the internal experience.
Yes. I remember I was having a conversation with a guy once on a course that I was on. And I said to him, it's all about doing it. And he said, no, but that's not in the book. I said, yeah, that's the whole point of it. Which I thought was quite amusing.
Feel like computer says no.
That's right, exactly. Or reality says no, I suppose.
So this is why tarot readers are at a constant disadvantage in particular, because they look up to people and thinking they know stuff, and actually they're just the people above them are just parroting stuff that they've read elsewhere, and it means no more to them.
No, exactly.
It does to the student, and the student thinks they're constantly wrong. They're not wrong. They just haven't validated their own experience.
They haven't trusted their experience. Yeah, you have to live it and then evaluate it afterwards, rather than like trying to a priori get the answer.
Of course. I mean, this is why I constantly say the only way to learn tarot is to do tarot readings for people.
Yeah.
And then you find Jung said the same thing, Jungian psychotherapists. You have to be in psychotherapy to become a therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
But that doesn't mean that you sorted out your stuff, and you never do. There's always stuff you've got to deal with. And the clients, they have to be clients. Don't do freebies, because they won't think you're any good.
Yeah.
Clients will constantly test you. They don't know they're testing you.
Yeah.
And they will find your weak points, because if you do a reading for yourself and there's certain cards you don't like, 9 of Swords, 10 of Swords, Death, 5 of Wands, 7 of Cups. When you see those cards in doing your own reading, you ignore those cards.
You need to practice the death posture by Osman Spare. That'll get you used to death.
Yeah, the death posture. I mean, I once remember doing a reading. I had the cards spread out, and I was looking at it and thought, "Oh, I'm going to ignore that one." So I'm sitting there, blah 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 blah, and the client says, "What
about that
card?" I have to talk about it now. So, and this is why, if you watch closely, a lot of the videos I do on tarot, I'm always making mistakes, because it's in the moment of consciousness. Yeah, which it may well be real in another reality.
Yeah.
Or
and it's human. And it's human to make mistakes as well. So if you don't make any mistakes, you're not really learning very much.
It's a mistake. I mean, the first validation I had as a good tarot reader was from this woman who said, "Oh my God, this is the best reading I've ever had in my life."
Yeah.
And she went out and the cards were still in front of me. So I grabbed the book, cross-referenced. Yeah. Went through I was wrong on every single card. It wasn't even close.
No, exactly.
And that's the point where I transitioned from this Cartesian view to this phenomenological view, where your experience is valid. Doesn't mean you can understand your experience or articulate it in philosophical or magical or mystical terms.
Yeah,
had it and it's valid.
Exactly.
If I say I had this dream, I had this dream. I can't validate it. I can't prove it.
No.
And most people tend to be truthful about their dreams anyway, because
people try and apply the methods of physical science, like the Newtonian universe, where you can measure and weigh things, but that's not really applicable to inner experience.
It doesn't happen at all. And the thing is, your inner experience will never, ever match whatever you've read.
No, exactly. Because it's your experience. Yeah, not someone else's.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's handwriting is different, but most of us, unless it's a doctor, we can read what they've written.
Yeah, exactly. I was reading my diary saying I'd written something out about the Book of Lies and chapter 48, Mome Rathe, that I read. There was a load more other stuff there, and I read it. And I thought, oh, that's really good. I didn't know he'd written that. When I checked, he hadn't. I had. So it was wrong.
There's also this experience you can have. You read something in the book and think, wow, that's amazing. And you come back to it a week, a day, a month later, it's disappeared.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
It's gone.
And it's never there again, or
again. There's times I've done some brilliant research with Google on things and stuff, and I found it. I said, yeah, I'll find that again.
You never find it. Things have moved on though, so you have to go to the next thing.
Well, exactly. This is the thing. You don't rest on your laurels on this stuff.
No, exactly. Constantly. It's what the Taoists say, is that you can't throw the same pebble into the same river twice. Yeah.
Exactly. Or the sea. Yeah. We've got a lot of stones to throw in.
And a lot of sea as well.
As my American friend said, Paul, is that the English Ocean? That's the English Channel.
It's a small
rocks on the beach. No, they're pebbles. Same beach, but different view.
Different pebbles.
So you have to have a framework that you can work within.
Yeah.
And that framework also requires a common language to transmit and communicate it. But as the NLPs will tell you, the map is not the territory.
No, exactly. And there's always multiple maps as well.
Yeah, maps you don't even know about.
Yeah, exactly.
So you need a form of context, in philosophy. Particular words have particular meanings, and it's the same in mysticism as well. It's a simpler way of communicating. It's a convenient way.
Yeah,
it's not communicating the reality as it's known.
No, exactly. Like Osman Spare had his own magical alphabet that he created, which had 22 letters, coincidentally, which some people think maybe was related to the Hebrew alphabet because it's coincidentally the same number.
Why wouldn't it be?
But then he turned it into his own symbols, which only really had meaning to him, which is
it's a secret alphabet. That's fine.
Yeah,
conscious working. I mean, John, the Enochian alphabet used communicated to John Dee.
Yeah,
had 21 letters.
Yeah,
they're pretty certain there was a 22nd letter.
Yeah,
but I mean, the thing is that in John Dee's time, to study anything Hebrew was pretty much a death sentence if the authorities found out.
Yeah,
so it's convenient to turn it into something else. Oh, it just happens to have 22 letters.
Yeah, exactly.
21. Oh, it's
purely by chance.
I mean, he's given. I mean, what he did with the Enochian alphabet was the name of the letter bore no relationship to how you say it.
Yeah.
Which is a radical departure.
Absolutely.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this as by way as a preamble, because we have a lot of inexperiences, we have a lot of shared experiences. We live our own lives. We're not, I mean, he's down the road and we bump into each other a couple of times a week or whatever and things, but we're doing our own stuff in our own way. And they both happen to kind of run along.
Yeah, it's in some way in parallel.
Somewhat parallel, yeah. We both come up with the same ideas at the same time, or the insights, or the same doubts, even.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I'm thinking, there might be something to into. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Okay.
Yeah. So,
exactly. And often you're working on subtle energies as well. This is not hit you in the face stuff. It's just.
I think the more that you practice this stuff, the more you become aware of much more subtle things than you otherwise would.
I mean, there's the classic Taoist kind of things, isn't there? When they're talking, then a student asks the master some deep philosophical question, and that second, a bird tweeted. Drop of water fell from a leaf. and the master does an entire exposition on that whole thing at that moment. We're not in that league.
No, definitely not.
And it would be a little bit showing off, I think.
Yes.
And a bit up ourselves if we even tried to do that. So we're not.
That's why laughter is a useful antidote to getting to yourself, for sure.
Don't take us seriously.
Absolutely.
So Graham came up, we had, in the interregnum, well, we had various things going on and things never quite went to plan. So it's taken all this time to get to doing another video, and we're going to talk about transformations.
Yes, we are indeed. We are indeed. So I was thinking about transformation a little bit earlier today. I've been thinking about it for quite a long time, and transformation kind of presupposes that there's where you are here and where you want to be, and they're not the same place.
Or in order to want to be where you are, but you
don't want to be where you are exactly. Not wanting to be where you are means you're not accepting the reality that you created in the first place.
I want to be somewhere else. You can only be wherever you are.
Absolutely. Reality begins where you are, right where you're sitting now. Exactly. And so I, after a while, I started to think, okay, so there must be a different model of this that I could study. So I studied programming and metaprogramming, the human biocomputer by John Lilly.
Right.
Who did a lot of experiments in isolation tanks in the 60s.
Oh, yeah.
various chemicals that were legal at the time but would no longer be legal in the present day.
That was the ping pongs over the eyes and stuff.
Yes, exactly. So he came up with the thing that anything that you can find in your mind can be transcended, so you can go beyond it. In which case, if you follow that to its logical conclusion, there is really no here or there. There's only where you are now. So I thought that was kind of useful. And then, but that you can test anything in external reality to see if it's actually possible, and gradually extend what's possible in concrete or objective or physical reality, whatever you choose to call it.
Because sometimes there's sort of things going on, and some psychic sort of thing, and with Pandit Maharaj, the first Pandit, I'll be sitting in my flat here, with him, and suddenly something would jump off the shelf in the kitchen.
Yeah.
No one in the kitchen. Just bang, something clashing on the floor.
Yeah.
And it happened quite a lot, or you just hear a noise.
Yeah.
So this is in Jungian terms, it's like a projection from within yourself, an externalization.
Yeah, exactly.
Going on as well. So we are, the whole thing of physics, we create our reality.
Yeah.
Which is why it's good to be positive.
Yeah, it's easy to kind of get that intellectually, but it takes quite a long time to actually experience it.
It's shit. It's not good. How the hell do I get out of this? But that's the paradigms you have to break and restructure and format as well. We do a lot of this between ourselves, and when Graham catches me, and I sometimes catch Graham as well on sort of certain modes of thinking that limits you.
Yeah.
The simplest one is I can't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
They won't let me. That's the Ace of Swords interference card, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So so I think after a while, then you start to experiment or create hypotheses about what are the limits, and then how do you go beyond them. Yeah. I read about Buckminster Fuller, who was he came up with the geodesic dome. He was an inventor and an engineer and a polymath, I suppose, to some extent.
Philosopher.
And a philosopher, exactly. And he was in his 30s. He was on Brooklyn Bridge about to kill himself, basically. And he decided in that moment he would actually try a slightly different approach. Much more effective is to treat life as an experiment. And that really struck me when I saw that. And I thought, that makes perfect sense to me, to experiment with what's possible.
The point about an experiment is there's no right and wrong outcome.
Exactly.
Because you do it and you see what happens. And then the road to madness is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's, I find that doing tarot readings on a regular basis, how I talk about a particular subject metamorphoses in some way.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I didn't know until I started talking. I think, I'm talking about that one differently now. Okay. It's because it can be easy to have scripts.
Yeah.
When you do a reading, a woman of a certain age in a certain situation.
Yeah.
These things. But the interesting thing is that I realized a long time ago is that if someone's in a certain state of mind, I could pretty much predict half a dozen things that are going on in their life at that moment.
Yeah.
And they say, how did you know? And so it's because I've seen that kind of energy
before. Yeah.
So those things are happening.
Yeah.
So again, it's this idea of the consciousness. So the thing is, it is, we're aspiring to infinity and beyond.
Yes.
If you've seen Toy Story.
And, I have indeed.
It's taking things from wherever you are to somewhere else. And that's basically the magical technique.
Exactly, yeah.
Is to make that finite infinite.
Yeah, exactly. The tricky bit is knowing where you want to go, I think. It takes quite a while to figure out what you're going to test next. That's what I found when I first started out. And then gradually the experiments become more and more and more subtle.
Yeah. I mean, they're just, and it's something that you can do. I mean, I call it martini magic because it's any time, any place, anywhere.
Anywhere, yeah.
It happens waking, dreaming, or sleeping, basically. There isn't a fixed. I mean, there's planetary hours, and you can sort of say, well, when Saturn's in a particular thing, you can invoke this Goetia.
Yeah.
But the Goetia aren't bound by time anyway.
No.
It's a constraint. It's actually an excuse for it not working. We didn't do it the right time.
We didn't do it the right time.
And spend proper time preparing. Actually, what happens is when you're in the right kind of consciousness, the spirits just appear anyway.
Yeah.
We've had that experience, and it's you saying, yeah, okay. All right, so.
The other thing that is to let go of attachment to anything happening or something specific happening and just kind of experience it as it unfolds.
The classic view of a magician is that, say a Goetia spirit turned up and he hadn't been evoking or doing something else, it must be wrong and it can't be the spirit.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been evoking, and that's the one he wasn't
expecting
in the first place.
That's right.
But actually, from a phenomenological point, that's the Cartesian view.
Yeah, exactly.
The book says you have to do this, and this.
Yeah, and this will happen.
Newton towed a bat and all that kind of stuff, and Virgin's parchment, and
yeah, exactly.
All that stuff. And actually, from a phenomenological point of view, the spirit turns up. It turns up. It's valid because that's your perception.
Yeah, exactly.
And we very often have the experience of both perceiving the same entity at the same time. Just sitting, sort of sitting there having a glass of wine or something. Carry on.
I think that's the other. Even though you don't need validation, but it is useful to have some shared experience so you can communicate with other people.
And it's a very limited shared experience that we share, isn't it? As well.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Yeah, exactly.
Than
this is step one, step two, and step three. It's not quite like
some people sort of try and tell me stuff, and they said, "Look, you're trying to justify. You don't have to justify."
No, exactly.
We said, you see, people, they've lost someone. They said, you see them in dreams, don't you?
Yeah.
And I said, well, sort of. Well, that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a sort of. Sometimes it's full in your face, but but other times it's a sort of experience.
Yeah.
And if you feel them around you, you feel them around you. You can't prove it.
No, exactly.
That's my nan.
No, you get a sense though. You know, even though you don't know, you do know at the same time. Yeah. If that makes sense.
And actually, and there's times when I was earlier on in my career. Sort of things you're sort of trying to deal with them and stuff, and then in the end you give up, and because you can't control these things. And actually, the thing you need to do is to accept that spirit within you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is the total opposite of what you're taught as a magician. You have to have this circle around.
Externalize it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which doesn't work.
I mean, the spirits can go anywhere. Like, why would you think that they can't? Maybe in the movies.
Exactly.
In real life, they turn up because it's an inner experience of seeing these spirits most of the time as well.
Yeah,
doing your own awareness.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not external to outside.
No, exactly. I think also that there's a lot in the way that you treat spirits and the way that you treat humans is probably related as well. So if you try to bully and cajole and force humans to do things, it doesn't work at all. So
it doesn't. If you try and bully a human around, they stop doing stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
But I mean, with these spirits, they sort of, oh, hello, So I remember one said, "Do you want anything, Paul?" I find that actually. Really, there's nothing particularly
No,
I was looking for.
No.
Because that's the thing, you're not looking for them; they turn up anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes they need to turn up, and then sort of say, "Yeah, you're doing okay." Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking for external validation, and this is an internal one because it's spirit.
Yeah, exactly.
And, the fact we're calling them spirits as well. Is an interesting kind of concept and stuff. So it's familiarity, not familiarity breeds contempt, and it's not familiar as in having the witchy familiar thing or something like that. It's
more treatment how you
experience.
Just treat how you treat a mate. If you talk to a mate, you wouldn't like.
So it's not exactly all right, mate, when it's
no. Well, I mean friendly, as in friendly.
Friendly, yeah. I mean,
not like I'm gonna smack you. That's not how it works, is it?
They're not quite doing all right, mate, either, but it is pretty close, actually.
Yeah.
They're quite familiar.
Yeah, it's informal. It's not like you don't have to be formal.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, it's me. Okay. Because the thing is, they don't appear exactly how
they're meant to.
How they in the book, and what they actually do is you kind of think, oh, it's that one, isn't it? And you actually see the name, in front of you. Yeah. But it's a bit like handles in when Breaker 99, all that kind of stuff. People give themselves a name. Our email is our identity most of the time. Isn't it?
Exactly. Or phone number or something like that. It's very similar.
Validate. Getting text message from your phone, so the bank says, "Yeah, it's okay, you." So that's our reality. It's not a reality.
No, exactly.
We don't have it. We're not real.
No, exactly. Anyway, I think I'm going to have a little sip of my wine now. So
okay, well, I think it's time for me to go and get a beer.
Yes, go for it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good health.
Is yours still sponsored by the Co-op? If you think of a spirit, it will appear.
Yes.
Instantly.
Yeah.
There's none of this.
I have experience of that.
Because actually, technically, they've already appeared, and then you notice because it's a level of consciousness kind of thing. What people are up here a long way from the source, and what we're continually trying to do is get closer to the source. Yeah. So when you SOURCE, not SAUCE, and when you get closer to the source, you're effectively seeing it before other people. Yeah. Which is why you don't need visible appearance.
No, it's kind of pre-conscious almost, isn't it? What would be not for most people? It's not conscious till much later, but you gradually learn how.
If it's not visible appearance, it's not real. I've heard magicians say that. It just means you don't have any faith in your perceptions or abilities. Yeah. If you needed to go that far, how much bloody proof do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
And actually, they're not turning up for proof. They're turning up to acknowledge that they know about you and what's going on, and it's like a signpost. It's sort of doing all right, mate. Keep going. What's the next bit? Keep going. You'll be fine. Keep going. They don't exactly sort of say, right, the next thing you need to do is...
No. You have to find it for yourself. It's not
exactly.
You don't
actually if they did that, sometimes they do a silent kind of thing, and they keep on sort of appearing on the same thing until you actually do something about it. That's the other experience. And then when you kind of get to that point and figure it out, then it doesn't happen again, because
exactly.
You move on to the next level.
Exactly.
It's not like these computer games where you have to go through the levels and then you save it and you crash or whatever, and then you start all over again. This is just, you just keep on going further and further up into realms that the maker didn't know existed.
Well, they can be quite insistent if you don't pay attention.
You're bloody right. Yeah. Go on. Tell me how. Goes on for years sometimes like that. Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got infinite patience, these poor things. You know, waiting for you to catch up, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we think we're going quite quick, but we're probably going not fast at all, actually.
Yes. Pedestrian.
So we went off the. No, we did. We kept to the point. But
no, we're on the track.
Point in rehearsal that we did 5 minutes before the video started.
Absolutely. So I think when we're talking about transformation, and then the paradigm, I guess, that I start to adopt is to have a magical worldview. So to view the world as magical, and then to go out and experience the magic of life. And
that is no different from what everyone else sees.
Yeah, exactly.
What is there is magical. It's not a thing added on.
No, exactly. It is what it is.
Actual thing that you notice and things. When I once remember doing a reading for a woman, and as soon as she started talking, a drill appeared from nowhere outside.
Yeah.
And then she stopped talking, and the drill stopped. And when she started, the drill started again.
Yeah. I find those kind of synchronicity is definitely
that is the creation of her world.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to, she can't be heard.
Yeah.
There's other noises going on. So there's a quite literal thing going on, correspondence.
Yes.
Right between these things.
Yeah.
So when Graham says it's a magical, this is the world that's magical.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes. That's how I perceive it. I mean, that's how I perceive it.
But that's the perception.
I think exactly. I think the practice of dhyana from yoga eventually help you to realize that you're co-creating it with the universe.
Yeah, it's very quantum mechanical. We are constantly recreating, destroying the universe billions and trillions of times a second. That's how you change things. I mean, that's the philosophical view of physics today.
Yeah, exactly.
It is an illusion. It's not solid, but we live in this illusion.
Yeah,
that's why it's called Maya.
Yeah, exactly. Illusion. Exactly. I was reading a thing called the holographic universe.
Yeah.
Which is like the whole universe is like hologram. The brain is like hologram, and so every part has similarity with every other part of the universe.
Holographic universe, I think they call it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we kind of go. Once you develop your awareness enough, then you can start to appreciate, or at least become part of creating the illusion, create your own illusion, I suppose.
Yeah, there is a problem with quantum mechanics at the moment because the quantum physicists are paid by government departments who haven't let go of classical physics. You cannot believe how much of quantum mechanics is, oh my God, this is weird, because they're still holding on to classical physics views that died in 1903.
Yeah.
Whenever it was. And if you actually go to a pure quantum mechanical system, there's a very good book by a physiotherapist, a Jungian therapist. I've forgotten his name, but he wrote a really interesting book. And he said, this is the problem with quantum mechanics, it's not quantum mechanics. It's these ideas with the old stuff bolted on.
You
have to totally let go of those classical physical realities in order to go deep into the system, and we're doing the same kind of thing here. We're having to talk about our experiences in magic and mysticism with spirits in terms of how other magicians talk about this, because they're still in a classical physical view of the world, or medieval
in that paradigm.
It's not exactly in a purely phenomenological experience.
Yeah,
it's in Descartes, because Descartes' real, isn't it?
Mm.
And when you hang on to that, then you get into all this weird stuff that doesn't make sense. But you can't do it until you've done the next thing, because you haven't been initiated into the next stage.
Yeah, exactly.